Number 25, on the set of axes below, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use absolute value. I get absolute value by going to second 0, which is my catalog, and then I hit enter. I get ABS. I'm going to do x minus 3, close my parentheses if your calculator is like mine, and hit plus 2. So when I graph it, it should look like this. To go to your table, I hit second graph, and then I try to plot these points so that I get a nice looking V-shaped graph. So I get 0, 5, 1, 4, 2, 3, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, and 6, 5. Connecting your points, this is what your graph should look like. That would be full credit. If you want to determine the zeros of this function algebraically, you simply want to set it equal to 0. Now, what this is a quadratic equation that is already in standard form. What I want to do is factor now. X minus 3, x minus 3, and x minus 1. Set it equal to 0. I set both factors equal to 0 and solve. I get x equals 3, x minus 1 equal to 0, plus 1, x equals 1. Number 27 says the distance traveled is equal to the rate of speed multiplied by the time traveled. If the distance is measured in feet, so let's say the distance was 100 feet, and the time is measured in minutes, then the rate of speed is expressed in, okay, so this is what we're looking for. Let's say we did it for 2 hours. So if you're solving for r, and you divide this side by 2 hours, okay, I would get 50 feet per hour. The rate of speed is expressed in which units? I would say rate is expressed in feet per hour. The key here, it says explain how I arrived at my answer. I am going to say I arrived at my answer by plugging in values and solving for r. Determine if the point 04 is a solution to the system of inequalities. If a point lies in a double shaded region, then it is a solution to the system. You see how this region over here looks like a checkered board? We're going to say that this is my solution set. Well, I want to know is the point 04. Well, here's a clincher, folks. You see how this is scaled by 2's? 04 is actually right here. Even though I'm only up 2 points, 04 is actually where they intersect. So, determine if the point 04 is a solution. I'm going to say no. And then you could say because it lies on the dashed line. Remember, if it lies on the dashed line, it's not a solution. If the zeros of a quadratic function are negative 3 and 5, what is the equation of the axis of symmetry? Okay, here's my negative 3 and 5. So that means my parabola is doing something like this. Now the axis of symmetry is a line that goes through the vertex, which occurs kind of at this halfway point. So if this is my parabola that go through negative 3 and 5, then you could say my axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Notice how it says equation. This is why I need to have an equal sign. This drawing is my justification. Here in 30, you're giving a equation for gravitational force. You don't have to know like what to do with it and what to plug in. They're just asking you to solve for r. So to do that, what I'm going to do is cross multiply. Put this over 1, I get f sub g r squared equals g m sub 1, m sub 2. This is an exponent, these are subscripts. And then I divide by f sub g, I get r squared equals g m sub 1 n sub 2 over f of g. Now what I do next is square root both sides, and your answer is the square root of g m sub 1 m sub 2 f sub g. For number 31, when we're comparing math and physics scores, I go to my table, I hit stat, enter on edit. In my L1, I've listed all my math scores, and in L2, I've listed all my physics scores. To find the correlation coefficient, what I'm going to do is hit stat, go over to calc, and then choose linear regression, lin-reg. Notice how my R value is 0.9215. Your correlation coefficient is R. To the nearest hundredth, 0.92. That is all they want you to do. So we're going to move on right to the next one. Explain what the correlation coefficients means with regards to the context of the situation. Since the R is close to 1, there is a strong positive correlation between math and physics scores. Basically means if you have a good score in math, you probably have a good score in physics, and vice versa. Could the factors of this function be x plus 2 and x minus 3? Well, remember, this is saying my zeros are negative 2 and my zeros are 3. So if I set this equal to 0 and I solve like I did in a previous problem, it looks like I get zeros of negative 2 and 3. Based on the graph, explain why or not. Why or why not? Could the factors be? Yes. Because the zeros of the graph are negative 2 and 3.